welcome to an episode of Modern Block. Thank you for joining me today. So today I thought I'd break down some of the World Rugby Awards with the coaches, breakthrough player and also best team coming up. I think it's going to be quite a good video, but please share, subscribe, like, all those good things. The channel is growing and just grow with me, join us in the conversation. So yes, first we've got the Coach of the Year. This is, in my opinion, one of the most fascinating categories in the tournament, as it is, these are the true masterminds of all of these tournaments. They are the ones who set everything in motion, pick the players that become the legends later on in the year, and it's quite interesting. Obviously, you can see some of most of these coaches are effectively coaches who did outstandingly in the World Cup, with all of them just killing it. HANSEN again making the list after already having won a couple times, just showcasing the quality of him as a coach. Jamie Joseph deserves to be here, but let's get into each of the coaches. So first we've got RASSIE ERASMUS with some of his record in 29. So obviously he did win Rugby Championship, which is the first time South Africa's done it in a while, in the Rugby World Cup final now, and has taken South Africa from 5th in the world to 2nd, barring a final coming up tomorrow. So, or actually on Saturday. So that's very interesting. With a win percentage of 9 out of 11 games, just outstanding. One of those being a draw, to remember. And he's just, considering the fact that he really only took over the team early 2018, has transformed it and has the ability to definitely, he's very good at building a team, building the actual, like the culture in the team, having the players believe in his vision, which I'm enjoying so much to see. He also has the innate ability to understand that this is the style the players need to be playing, the tactics that work for us. So very good quality coming from Munster. He has done a lot for South African rugby coming back here, and this is most likely his last game coming up as head coach coming up in the final. So all the best to him, and I hope he can top this off to his year. Next up, we have Warren Gatland. Warren Gatland is, 12 years at Wales must say something. He has just been able to grow that team. Grand Slams, multiple this year included, in his tenure. He's had the first win of Australia's ever had in a Rugby World Cup. Wales have had over Australia in a World Cup. He's got a very good percentage. Yes, maybe the percentage over the years, 4th to 4th. They started 4th, ended in 4th. But he did get his team up to 1st in the world and reached the semi-final. You cannot argue that, considering the player pool of Wales and the size of the professional pool there. He has done wonders for that team and should be considered one of the best coaches of all time, and also definitely of now. He still has the fact that he, on top of all of this, is the British and Irish Lions coach and had one of the best British and Irish Lions tours in a long time. So all the credit goes to him. As I said, he got a 6th Grand Slam this year and also 2 others. He's just gone from strength to strength, and he most likely also will be finishing off, so it'll be nice to see him cap it off with this. Next up, Steve HANSEN. Now, Steve HANSEN needs no introduction. The guy took over probably one of the toughest jobs in the world in rugby when it comes to trying to keep the lofty heights of All Black rugby alive. Graham Henry already had done the impossible by winning the World Cup after many, many years of All Blacks trying. He'd done it, and then somehow HANSEN repeated it. Yes, in his own ground, but still very impressive repeat on that. He just continues to be amazing. Yes, he might not have won the Rugby World Cup this year, but has just done wonders for us on New Zealand rugby, and has also put the structures in place to have some of the best players in the world feed into it, and he knows the kind of vision he wants. He may not have won the World Cup now, but is still considered one of the best. This is probably one of the poorest years in All Black rugby, so which is saying something, but overall you cannot take that away from his coaching style. Unfortunately, this year has just not been great for him. Next up, Jamie Joseph. Jamie Joseph, it's quite impressive what he's done, considering that the lofty heights of Eddie Jones coming into this team, to the Japanese team, bringing in a win over South Africa, and then somehow he's actually been able to take that further. He has gotten a lot of support from Japanese rugby, being able to also coach the Sunwolves second team and build a lot of players up, but he has utilized that very well. Winning the Pacific Nations Cup, building tactically into the team very well, understanding the shortcomings of the Japanese players and building up those players and the style to do it. He's got one of the most electric styles, team styles that you can see out in rugby at the moment. The team's a lot of fun to watch and has built a lot of support from that. So a lot of credit to him for that. That he has increased the world ranking from 11th to 8th. And in my opinion, I would say even lower than that. It's just not enough games to really get there. Reached the quarterfinal with Japan for the first time. And has been able to topple giants like Scotland and Ireland in the doing so. So just record after record. They're also one of the first times they've beat Fiji in the Pacific Nations Cup. Just continuing to be impressive in that. So real quality, especially considering the expectations and the pressure on him and his team to be able to achieve it. His management of that has just been very impressive. Last but not least, we have Eddie Jones. The guy is a little bit of a he can talk a lot. He talks a lot. He can bring a lot of news out there. But he's reached the final. The first thing, one of the major things he said in this is, don't judge me on how I performed before this, judge me on my World Cup. And to be fair, he's right. He's now here in the final of the World Cup, taking his team from 3rd to 1st, and he's got a very good win percentage. Some of those are draws and some of those are cancelled matches, so very good. Very, very good. He hasn't had a great year tournament-wise, one of the poorer years in the Six Nations, coming from a really dominant couple of years before that. 2018 was a year to forget for sure also, but has built beautifully into it, and that's where I think it shows the tactical genius of this man. His ability to understand how a team attacks and how a team is constructed to attack against you and how to alter his team to face it is very impressive. And you can see this almost certainly in the way that he's not afraid to swap out his team to take on different opponents. With the Ford Farrell switching, like for example. So he knows the players he needs, he knows the kind of team he needs to face opponents, and with the performances that he's shown in the quarterfinals and even in the knockout stages, definitely one of the best teams in the world right now. So I do understand why he's there, especially considering criticism. Also understanding when he needs to ask for help, bringing in players, coaches like John Mitchell to improve his defensive setup was very, very, very clever and has helped them improve their ability to close out games quite impressively. Next up, we have Breakout Players of the Year. This is, what a beautiful category. Just because it just showcases some of the amazing talent coming into rugby at the moment and just how much we can just look forward to as massive, passionate fans of the sport. Let's get into it with Joe COKANASIGA. The player has just been impressive. He's done great things on the wing. He might not have had a lot of the World Cup time playing only against USA, but 2 tries there already showcasing it. He's a fire on the wing, and Watson and May have got such great backup in that position for him. He's really, really good and has just continuing to do it. He's got 7 tries out of 9 games putting on the jersey, and I think he will take over this jersey early next year at the current rate he's going. He is just a blast to watch and a beast. He reminds me a lot of the Tuolangi and even Vunipola. He is just that kind of player and is a lot of fun and gives definitely a lot more strength to the outside for England going into the future. I can't wait to see him perform more in the English jersey and even club rugby. Next up we got NTAMACK. He is just probably the most impressive player of the year for me, mainly because of the fact that you go into, at 20 years old, you go into a World Cup at fly half. Effectively, you're starting at that position most of the time now. You've taken over pretty much, and you are just so level-headed. He comes from, his dad is Emile NTAMACK from 1999 French team, and also he seems to have just taken that level-headed calmness from his dad and took his team effectively to a quarterfinal. With some amazing attack. He really was a problem for Wales, a problem in the group stages, and has just grown leaps and bounds. I cannot wait for him to mature more into the position. He will be one of the fly-offs to watch next year and the year after, and the next World Cup for sure. The French team overall is growing hugely with the success in their under-20s team. He also is the under-20 player of the year last year, so he's just got leaps and bounds still he can grow, and it's exciting to see. Next up, South African-born HERSCHEL Jantjies. He is a revelation, considering he wasn't even on the radar really of any South African fan up until early this year, and has just come out of nowhere. Game-saving try for us against New Zealand, has just been able to score impressive tries, ball speed, his calmness, his understanding of putting players into space, nippiness is exactly what South African rugby needs, and is going to be a a massively important thing for South Africa going forward, as we need a quality scrum off in that position, and he is definitely that. So I can't wait to see him grow into this position further, and with the fact that he already has got a lot of World Cup experience with this, from coming from the bench, being able to close games out well under those pressure situations is just impressive, and is just amazing to see. Next up, we've got Team of the Year. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. I think that this video is already quite long, but I just kind of want to say these teams effectively come from, as you can see here, Team of the Year is pretty much decided by Coach of the Year, as all of these teams are the coaches. I find it very impressive, and credit to New Zealand that 3 of the 5 coaches are born in New Zealand, just showcasing how much they are permutating their quality over the World Rugby and affecting World Rugby, and that is very impressive that they're sharing that knowledge with us. We appreciate it. I hope, in my opinion, the most improved Team of the Year is definitely Japan. England by far the most clinical team. South Africa also, I think, should have a little bit of a hand in most improved, considering the situation in 2017 and even early 2018. Really good. New Zealand, on the other hand, I would say I don't think they can take this this year. I'm sorry to say they haven't grown compared to last year. If anything, have gone down a little bit, but are still a team to contend with. Unfortunately, this was just not their year. Things didn't click perfectly, but they've won enough that I think will be okay. Wales, on the other hand, is just a mesmerization that they were actually that big, considering the scale, the size of the country, and credit to the UK, 2 of their teams coming from there. Wales, just the player pool, the depth of their team, they're still able to compete with every player in the world. So overall, these teams all deserve it. I think these are the right choices, so it'll be good to see. Please let me know who you think will win. I don't want to put too many things out there. I've kind of given already some of my opinions, but yeah, let me know, comment, share, subscribe, and like, all those good things down below. Thanks guys, cheers.